Good morning, student. In this video, we are going to focus on the second point, that is about how to isolate the computer problems and the devices. Now, first of all, we should know that what exactly the error occurred in our computer system. So we should identify which peripheral device is responsible for that. So there are some steps that we should follow. So these are some guidelines has been given that what we have to do and what we should not. So first of all, approach the problem systematically. So just start at the beginning and go one by one. Identify every devices which are working, which are not working. Divide and conquer that first of all, divide that problem, whether it is a software problem or whether it is a hardware problem. There are basically two types of problem, hardware and software. So if it is a hardware, then focus on the hardware devices, and if it is software, then we have to find out which software giving this problem. uh, then ask some questions whether this computer it is plugged or not, whether it is turned on or not, monitor it is plugged properly or not. Sometimes it is very simple error, but we ignore such kind of error. So first of all, check all the connections are properly done or not, and then again restart your machine. So check for the simple things, don't make any assumptions, try for every possible way. Then write down the things where exactly your error occurred. Reboot and start. Now while rebooting you can get a safe mode option, so try to start with the safe mode. And then see, even though if it is giving an error, the data will not get lost. That is very worst condition, 1% condition that your data may lose. So see, your normal practice is that you should take a backup of your important data on your drive, that is on the cloud, or as an external drive. Then don't assume the worst, finding out the starting point. And these are some faults you might have noticed, or you can catch up if you look it carefully. So there may be the loose wire connection, broken wire connection, fuses may be blown out, then there may be the switch setting wrong, the missing jumpers problem, loose connectors are there, PCB, that is printer circuit board, your motherboard track has been burned, so that's why data cannot be passed through the motherboard. So these are the problems related to your motherboard. Then connector and the cable. So these joints related, that the breaches are there, IC related problems, transistor related problems may be there. So these are some problems you can identify when just you open that case, CPU case, and start your machine, then you can identify it. After that identifying, then solve this problem uh, for the particular devices. So these computer problems are usually fall into the two categories. One, it is a software problem or it may be a hardware problem. Software problem, that is your application problem related problems. Hardware means your devices problem, components problem. If it is in a hardware problem, then you have to check for whether keyboards, mouse, speakers, memory, hard disk, these are connected properly or not, and it is working properly or not. Even you can see for the RAM, it continuously beep if there is an error in the memory slot. So just you have to clean that RAM, and again you have to fix it into the motherboard. This is one solution for this RAM correction. So in that way, you have to see whether the computer is plugged properly or not, power supply is correct or not, and different devices connected properly or not. These are the hardware problems. Software problems, that your system may get hang because of this so many applications are running and you are having a memory of only 1 GB, 2 GB, and it cannot load that much data. So you have to check for that if there is some malware or the viruses are there in your computer, so it will corrupt your data. So you should have the antivirus system software should be installed on your machine. So these are some software problems and some solutions. Now how to isolate these problems, some examples has been given here. The first common examples, one computer problem is that the computer is become slow. In lab also we have seen these problems of the computer get hang. So there can be a software or it can be a hardware problem. Software problem that there may be the virus or so many items are running. So for that, go to the services and stop some services which are not required. Normally, if you are using the database such as Oracle, SQL Server, it consumes a memory a lot when once you created database. What happens exactly, for every patch every student creates its own database and then it will consume that much memory when you start your computer. So best way is that just stop that SQL services, stop the Oracle services, then your memory consumption will be low and system may get fast. Then hardware problem, suppose your hard disk is fragmented. We have seen the fragmentation concept and even in operating system you might have learned. The fragmentation means your system is having a lot of spaces available. It is in the, but in the break pieces this information, the space is available and you cannot use that space. So while retrieving data also it is presented in a different slots are there, and that's why it takes a time to read that data and to write that data. So this that we have to identify for this computer is slow. If your computer keeps restarting, then your maybe automatic update you have set or viruses problem. Uh, that may be a software problem, or it may be a hardware problem, just like a motherboard having some issues, then graphics card having some issues, network card driver giving some error, then also your computer get restarted. The keyboard, mouse, printer and other peripheral devices are not working properly. Then for the software it may be a driver problem. For every hardware peripheral devices, listen, that you are going to attach, that may be your pen drive, driver get installed. So that is a system software and it is used to interact that device with your computer. So that may be the software problem, or in hardware problem, it may be a computer port problem. That port is not working properly and you are trying to fix your peripheral device with that port, then again it will give a problem. Another computer problem, that application command doesn't work, any software doesn't work. So most of the time that's software, it may be a software error for that particular application may be corrupted. And hardware that suppose that hardware that your hard disk is not working properly, your memory is not working properly, then it cannot load that application. Internet speed is slow. Now here software, there are so many softwares are running and these softwares are consuming the bandwidth. They are also using that net at the back end and you don't know about it. So that may be the problem. Hardware that your hard disk fail and it is not reading or it is not transmitting the packets, TCP/IP packets over the internet. So that may be the hardware problem. So these are some common problems and how to isolate it. So identify, first of all look for the software and then look for the hardware. In that way you can go, and these are some of the problems are normally occurred, and what we have to do, just we have to go through step by step. First of all, see that which are the different components are present in your computer and normally giving the problem with that devices. So isolate that devices which are giving the problems and then focus on only the devices and that particular or the softwares because of you are getting the problems with your computer system. So this is about the isolating computer problems and devices. Next video we are going to learn how to troubleshoot power supply, RAM, OS, hard drive and so on. We'll stop here and thank you.